You are live in the CNN newsroom. I'm Ana Cabrera in New York. We begin with this disturbing breaking news. A Texas man who participated in the Capitol riot is now charged with threatening to assassinate Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. These charges coming as the investigation into the deadly attack on the U.S. Capitol continues. Let's get to CNN's Jessica Schneider with more details. Jessica, what have you learned?
Well, Ana, this suspect is accused of posting online death threats not only against Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, but also against a Capitol police officer. Prosecutors say it's Garrett Miller of Texas, and he tweeted this. He said, "Assassinate AOC." And then he also said that officer who fatally shot that Trump supporter who had made her way into the Capitol on January 6th, Garrett Miller also allegedly said she deserves to die and won't survive long because it's, quote, hunting season. Now, officials do say that Miller participated in this Capitol attack, and he did post extensively on social media, both before the attack, they say during the attack as well. He said this, according to prosecutors: a civil war could start and, quote, next time we bring guns. And of course, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, she has been very vocal about the danger that she felt she underwent during this attack on January 6th. She's been vocal then and ever since. Here's what she had to say about that day in particular.
I had a very close encounter where I thought I was going to die. It is not an exaggeration to say that many, many members of the House were nearly assassinated. It's just not an exaggeration to say that at all. We were very lucky that things happened within certain minutes that allowed members to escape the House floor unharmed. But many of us nearly and narrowly escaped death.
And now this man who posted those threats against AOC, as well as the Capitol police officer, Garrett Miller, he's facing 5 federal criminal charges incorporating his participation in the attack and then those subsequent death threats. But Ana, we've also heard now from that man's lawyer. His name is Clint Broden, and he released this to CNN, saying he did it in support of former President Donald Trump, but regrets his actions. He has the support of his family, and a lot of the comments are viewed in context as really sort of misguided political hyperbole. Given the political divide these days, there is a lot of hyperbole. And of course, this man, just the latest to be charged. There have been more than 120 people charged federally in this attack. But Ana, of course, this is just the beginning. Prosecutors say that there could be hundreds more charged. But this is where the real work begins, because a lot of the people who have been charged already, you're seeing it in this arrest right here. They've posted online. They've talked about their involvement in the attack. It's those other people who are definitely more difficult to find at this point. Prosecutors, investigators searching for them, including whoever may have planted those 2 pipe bombs outside the RNC and the DNC just a few blocks from the Capitol. And of course, the charges we could see in the future could be a lot more hefty. They could include sedition and conspiracy. Those charges, the penalty is upward of 20 years in prison. So a lot to come here. But of course, we're seeing new arrests just like this one announced pretty much daily, Ana.
And the more details that come to light, the more we realize just how scary all this is. Jessica Schneider, thank you. Also related to the Capitol siege, former President Donald Trump will now have a little more time to prepare for his Senate impeachment trial. It has been delayed for 2 weeks until February 9th, roughly the timeline that the new Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell wanted. CNN's Jamie Gangel and Michael Warren have been reporting dozens of influential Republicans are lobbying McConnell to vote to convict Trump. A member of Congress telling CNN this: Mitch said to me he wants Trump gone. It is in his political interest to have him gone. It is in the GOP interest to have him gone. The question is, do we get there? CNN's Suzanne Malveaux is on Capitol Hill for us. Suzanne, why did Democrats agree to delay the trial? And what are the chances enough Republicans sign on to convict the president, the former president?
Well, Anna, as you know, the Senate is split 50 Democrats, 50 Republicans. They have to come up with this power sharing negotiation agreement. So you had Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell behind the scenes trying to figure out rules to basically govern on the Senate side. And one of those is coming up with the trial for impeachment. And so for the Democrats and the Biden administration, they want to get a lot done in the first 100 days. So we're talking about COVID relief, $1.9 trillion in stimulus, but also the nominees, the cabinet nominees, to be confirmed by the Senate. Republicans made it very clear they're not splitting the day. They're not splitting the purpose here with impeachment and legislation. They said it is all or nothing. And so they took that to heart. Just listen to Senator Lindsey Graham.
If you want to impeach the president, we're going to do it like we've always done it. We're not going to split the day. At least I would, unless that's the business of the Senate. Once we go into it, they're choosing to do this. They're choosing to do this. We're going to do it the way we've always done it. We've never split the day.
And Anna, so what was it that Republicans, the GOP, and McConnell got out of this? Well, they were demanding, or rather asking, that the Trump legal defense team get some time for due process to prepare for this Senate trial. And that is something that they got, not as much time as they had hoped. But clearly, this trial will begin in earnest. We're talking about as early as Monday. That is when the single article of impeachment will literally travel from the House side to the Senate side. That will be filed. It will be announced on the Senate floor. The following day, a summons issued to Trump about these charges, and then some critical deadlines to follow. February 2nd, the deadline for the Trump response team, as well as the House managers in this trial to issue their pretrial briefings. Another critical deadline, February 8th, that in which Trump will bring forward his own pretrial briefings, his legal team, and then February 9th, that is when the House will present its rebuttal, as well as the official beginning of the trial. Anna, it is not anticipated or expected that the president will be convicted. He would need at least 17 Republicans to do so, in addition to all 50 Democrats, but they certainly are going to try.
Trump may be gone, but the drama has not left Capitol Hill just yet. Suzanne Malveaux, thank you. Joining us now, Democratic Senator Tina Smith of Minnesota. Senator, good to have you with us. First, I just want to get your reaction to this breaking news that one of the people arrested for allegedly participating in the Capitol riot has now been charged with threatening to assassinate Democratic Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Well, thank you, Anna, and I'm really glad to be with you today. This is terrible, terrible news, and it, I think, reminds all of us of how deadly serious this attack on our capital and our nation was on January 6th. I fear that the more we find out about what was really going on, the extent of planning and organization amongst these right-wing militia groups and white supremacist groups, the more we find out about this, the worse it's going to get. And it's why it is so important that we continue full on with prosecuting folks, making sure that we keep them locked up while they're in the midst of this investigation. I'm very worried about what I'm hearing about these individuals being who are arrested and now being let loose on bail, when it seems to me that there's still a great threat here.
And according to his lawyer, he did it in support of former President Donald Trump, but he regrets his actions. So as you contemplate the impeachment article that's expected to land there in the Senate coming as soon as Monday, CNN is reporting there's a whisper campaign among Republicans building that privately, some, including Mitch McConnell, want to see Trump convicted. But even then, the numbers may not be there. You're not going to get to 17, the critical number of Republicans needed to join all the Democrats to have a conviction. So what are you hearing from Republicans privately?
Well, I think the Republicans have a really, really big decision to make. The reality of this is that the president told these people a big lie about how the election had been stolen from him, and they believed him. And because of that, because he incited them, they did this attack on the Capitol. And so now the Republicans have to decide what kind of party do they want to be. Do they want to be the party of Trump, or do they want to be the Republican Party? And we need, to tell you the truth, I'm a Democrat, but we need at least two strong parties in our country for democracy to work. So I hope that they realize that this is an opportunity to put an end to the Trumpist part of their party. It's going to be up to them at the end, though. And I believe that the results and the evidence will show that the president did incite this violence, and he should be held accountable.
Do you know of any Republicans who've made up their mind to vote to convict at this point?
I can't say that I know that anybody has made up their mind. And of course, the trial hasn't even started yet.
Right.
As you just reported, we know it'll start now, it looks like, for real in about 2 weeks.
The New York Times is reporting today some stunning new details about the lengths former President Trump was willing to go in order to try to stay in power. The paper reports that in his final weeks in office, so even before this insurrection, Mr. Trump was planning to oust then acting Attorney General Jeffrey Rosen and then install a loyalist who was another member of the Justice Department who would force Georgia to overturn its election results. What is your reaction to learning this new detail? Is this something that needs to be investigated?
Absolutely. I mean, this is another piece of stunning information to the lengths to which Donald Trump was willing to go to hold on to power, even though he had lost the election. Again, another example of what looks like just narrowly our country avoiding what would have been a coup attempt. So I think we have to get to the bottom of this. Also, we've just seen reported this stunning news that the president seemed to be saying that he knew what to expect on the attack day, January 6th, when he said to folks at the Department of Defense, you're going to need 10,000 troops. So these are the things that we have to investigate and get to the bottom of. This is how we're going to get accountability and how we're going to come back together. We can't just walk by all of this information. We have to get to the bottom of it.
That news that you just reported on our air, did that come from an investigation within Congress, or where did you get that information about the president, former president?
This is being reported today. It was reported by a Vanity Fair journalist who was embedded with the Department of Defense. Okay. And it gets at the point that there's lots that we don't know yet about what happened.
Absolutely. And so I just need to say that CNN has not confirmed that reporting. You and 6 other Democrats have requested an ethics probe now into Republican Senators Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley over the Capitol riot. And in this complaint, it reads, by proceeding with their objections to the electors after the violent attack, Senators Cruz and Hawley lent legitimacy to the mob's cause and made future violence more likely. What exactly do you want investigators to look into here?
What I want to see is an investigation into exactly what Senator Hawley and Senator Cruz did, how they were connected, if at all, with the organizers of this rally, what exactly happened here. The United States Senate needs to protect its integrity in this moment. And Senator Hawley and Senator Cruz are showing no remorse, no regrets for what happened. In fact, they are defiant. And again, I believe that the path to moving forward has got to be around accountability for the actions that these senators and also members of the House, accountability for their actions. While this mob was preparing to attack the Capitol, they were giving credence to this baseless allegation that the election had been stolen. And even during the attack, they were fundraising off of these false allegations. There has to be accountability here.
Let me just read you what Senator Hawley said about this ethics complaint. Quote, it's a flagrant abuse of the Senate ethics process and a flagrant attempt to exact partisan revenge. What do you say to that?
Well, I say that the Senate ethics process is there to make sure that senators are putting the highest moral values of our country first, rather than putting first their own personal interests, the interests of their party. That is what we are supposed to be doing here. That is our responsibility. This is not about partisanship. This is about our democracy and whether senators are behaving in a way that holds up the highest values of our democracy.
Democratic Senator Tina Smith, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you, Anna.